the truth. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If y'all can hear me good. Oh, yes. Y'all can hear me good. We are going to do the sounds. Stand by.
And now, this will be a very touching topic, one in which, if you are a female, the disclaimer should be known that this will be probably focused on you today. So do not take this too personal or get in your fees. But nonetheless, this is a subject that will not be much discussed, but only on here in Chaos Rain.
So now I lay out the chaos disclaimer. What's up, guys? It's been a while. It's been a while. Just doing this nice little podcast stream. And as you know, the title for today is titled Sexual Deviance in Women. Chaos Theory, episode, I believe, 5 or 6. No, it's episode 6. So, for those that will be listening to the stream, to let you know, if you want to follow Chaos Rain, you can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. And not only do you follow Chaos Rain on the YouTube side of things, make sure you hit the red button and the top notification bell so you know when I go live or I do an upload on Chaos Rain channel. I would like to hear from you personally. So leave a comment, your thoughts, feelings, reactions. I do surely want to hear from you. And I think that's pretty much it. So, why I'm dealing with sexual demons in women. And today, I'm just going to wing it. There is things from the CDC, some data out here when we know about the issues amongst children that are a part of the communities that they do grow up dysfunctional. Mostly, you see the more problem is in the what they want to call the black community. And let's be honest here. All this is reflective. So I want people to understand when you see black people, let's say black women especially, and they engage in certain loose, deplored behaviors, keep in mind all what we have done, especially the boys. They just don't come out the womb and is one day say they want to sit there, have their way with young girls or women. No, that's not the case. Everything is reflective. As y'all know, when y'all hear the term the butt breaking and all type of sexual exploitations, that plays a very major factor, including epigenetics, how people move and operate sexually, men and women. And when it comes to black people generally, that is reflective over roughly over 200 years at most. Oh, and the reason why I'm talking about all this, we must understand this is Juneteenth. And in Juneteenth, this is when, the quote unquote slaves were recognized as they are now actually released from physical bondage. So this is somewhat a lot of things dedicating this special podcast slash stream. But down to the nitty gritty things, we have to keep in mind that when we look at sexual exploitation and sexual deviance amongst men and women, it is evident that when it comes to us black people, we can go even further. It's epigenetic while we still operate in a sexual manner. But notice that nonetheless, we still operate in this so-called epigenetic slash behavior for centuries now. And we refuse to correct it as a whole. I could say what the men could do all day to alleviate and do things that they know they are uncomfortable to do to correct that portion of why we so loose, and even to the point where it we find stories of boys that, or we could say men, that engage in, taking people's innocence, both male and female. And we also cannot put in women in that same boat, because women engage in same sexual, and I think they probably engage it even more. But we know, for what we look at, either data or whatever, that when we hear about sexual deviance, it always comes to the mind that it's always a man that is the forefronter of it, and women are exempt of all sexual behaviors and misconduct. And I'm gonna tell you right now, sweetie, no, that is not the case. Today's stream is gonna be focused a little bit on you from what I saw from one particular video. Then I'm probably gonna go to Arco, and maybe if everything goes well, I might just open up. I might, but we shall see. But before I even go into this video, y'all know about this video. Two women from some part of the Bible Belt or somewhere down south, and their relationship's very unusual. So unusual that I'm sorry to say, it it's pretty sick at the end of the day when I look at it. So, no further ado, let me find it. And as I pull it up, please like, share, and subscribe, because we are simulcasting, as y'all know. Now, mind you, there's going to be very harsh language as I go into this segment. So I'm just letting people know you would be warned. So don't take this. All right, let me see if it's showing up now. So I will be just double checking, see how it sounds. All right, here we go. Oh, and for this, I normally don't say this, but for this type of video, we will say, in respect, we will go fair use with this one.
Mom, are you coming? I'm coming. I'm about to get my stuff. I'm Carla. I'm 44, and this is my daughter.
Hold on a
I'm
second,
Rakia.
guys.
I'm 26 years old, and
This I'm doing something quickly. Okay, let's see if this will work now. Sorry for all this. Okay, now we can see it. So let us go ahead with this. And always, we would go with fair use with this one.
Mom, are you coming? I'm coming. I'm about to get my stuff. I'm Carla. I'm 44, and this is my daughter.
I'm Rakia. I'm 26 years old, and we live in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Now, before we continue, if the mother is 44, or she could be turning 45 this year because we're in the new year now. Not sure the dates when they were born. And the daughter, Rakia, that's 26, and she could probably be turning 27. And the reason why I'm just going a year ahead on their average say what age they are is because I'm not sure when or what month they were born. So, but from the math, as you could tell, they look just like each other, same height, different ages. Mother could be born in 76 or 77, and a daughter could be born either 94 or 93. But nonetheless, is a gap of roughly 22 to 23 years. So as we watch more, we're going to understand more why this is one segment of sexual deviance.
Do you have a lotion?
I don't have any lotion. Bring some with you. My mother is the most important person in the world to me. I can lean on her. I can depend on her for anything, and I appreciate that. Like, I really, really do. Don't cry.
Thank you.
No. We do everything together.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Watch a movie together, cook together.
Twerk.
Go crazy. Show up. She's the first person I see when I wake up and the person I see when I lay down.
I couldn't imagine my life without my mom being in it. It would ruin me. I wouldn't know what to do, how to function. I would lose a part of myself. And I don't even want to imagine that.
Right. I've had people.
Now, as I pause for a second, as you could tell, they say they do everything with each other. And I mean everything. Cook. They clean. Things that, parents and children do with each other at times. And the funny thing about all this, if anybody has seen this clip before, has anybody ever noticed? Like, really noticed that your mother is not sick. And look like you're a single mother. But why is your daughter, that's in her mid and approaching late 20s, still with you? And you look at the mother doesn't look too old that she could go out in these streets, go find a man, date, couple up, and carry on life. Let's continue.
People say that we're too close. Point blank. And I was like, what?
I don't see why they feel like our relationship is like so bizarre or weird. Okay, you got to spread it open a little bit. Yeah. This
normally
side
go
is
up.
going down, but I can't tell. I probably should have did it before I put it on there. My mother and I have been waxing each other for quite some time now.
Oh my God. This time, let me know when you're about to rip it.
Okay, count.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, that was a good one.
Hurt. Goodness gracious.
Those are some coarse ones.
Gee. It shocks people if we share the things that we do. I showed her my first sex tape about 2 years ago.
Now, the mother, and I can't go by what her name was again. You did a sex tape 2 years ago, or probably longer, but we're not going to that. But it makes me wonder, why are you as a mother showing your sex tape to your daughter? Hmm. You know what vibes is giving me? Is giving me this.
She belongs to the street.
Yeah, that's the vibes I'm getting. That's definitely vibes I'm getting. That this woman looks like she really, truly belongs to the streets. Now, I could be wrong, like always, but as a adult woman with your with your daughter living with you, it seemed to me y'all do more than just, do everything, including waxing your own pussy, which I find that very ironic, but that's another story. But why? And I mean, why, bluntly, are you doing that? Hmm. That is the weirdest question I had to ask. That is the weirdest question I had to ask. But like I said, that's the vibes I get off of that. That's totally the vibes I get. You are not only engaged in cleaning out each other down below, but she is now introducing porn to you as a daughter. That's telling. It is very much telling. But let's continue.
I showed her my first sex tape maybe a year ago. I was like, hey, I want to spice things up. I bought this outfit, what kind of positions do you think I should do or what do you think we should do? And she was just like, oh, girl, prop your leg up in this angle. Maybe your back should have been a little bit more arched in this position.
Have your significant others known that you showed the video to your mom?
Yes, I had one significant other in the past that knew that I shared the video with my mom. And he was like, you guys are sick. Lotion. Oh,
Really cute.
it's smooth.
Girl, that's a big
You're
butt.
smooth like a baby again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm proud.
Oh, sorry. I gotta make the correction. The daughter showed her mother her own sex tape she did 2 years ago. So I had to make a correction. I apologize. I apologize. Now that I was listening to it. So it's not that way. The mother did not really make no sex tape. Her daughter did. And she showed to her mother. And her mother was not really, she was actually fine with it, which is really red flags. I'm just saying. But, I've been hearing a lot from the space about the sexual deviance and, behaviors of what black women do and what they really like to engage in. I have not witnessed it personally, to be honest with you, mother and daughter with this type of relationship. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised that it don't exist. Watching this, it's reflective. It's telling. It is very telling. And the reason why I say it's very telling, because let's be honest here. In this community, we do a lot of sick shit here. I mean, about molestation, rape, etc. And like I said earlier in the show, that's all epigenetic. That's all from what we passed down after, being butt broken for the last 120 years. Now, is it an excuse that we should still be engaged in? No, you should not be engaged in butt breaking behavior if you are a black woman and a black man, or you have children and you're not watching and protect your children. If you have somebody in your family that still engaged in that butt breaking form. And if people not familiar with butt breaking, it's more than just men just having access to young females and procreating with them because the master tell them. No, it's deeper than that. It's a psychological embedded in them that affects them mentally, spiritually, etc. And I probably will do a show on the consequence of what they call sexual or what they call rape. There is a consequence, people. And a lot of humans don't know that. There is a psychological and a spiritual consequence. You as a person that takes away someone's innocence without consent or in some form of natural act. If you take it, there there something will happen to. And it's more than just the physical death that awaits you. But that be down the line.
That I created her. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. It makes me feel wonderful to love on her. She's here, I'm here. You have to live every day like it's your last, and that's what I'm going to do with my daughter.
Yeah. So, damn. Like I said, oh, and I have some little pictures too. Oh, what's good, bro? How you doing? I'm just doing the dissertation. I might soon drop. Oh, matter of fact, before I continue, please share this video. I'll probably open up for a little bit after I go for my little dissertation. And I forgot to put this. Okay. Now, let me see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to find it. Ah, here it is. What I'm about to put up is the many forms of sexual deviance. And as you see from the little picture that I found, there are many forms. There's orgies, porgy, fanboys, incense, fairies. I don't know what that is. That's some new word. Pornographs, race mixing, anime, waifus. There's pedophilia, which made the list on this little diagram, and there's the LGBTQ, which I find it interesting that that's put in as sexual deviance. This is all you could probably Google yourself. This is like a little snippet of what I found, and I found it interesting when I was just going through certain images, and I've come across this, and these are just the 9 chambers of sexual deviance. And if people want to know a definition, since we're talking about it, let's pull that up as well. Let's look at it. And let's see the definition. There's articles, but we're going to look at just a short form because I'm not going to stay up here, go into the detail of it. And it goes by, from what it says here, paraphilias are psychiatric disorders characterized by deviant and culturally non-sanctioned sexual fantasies thoughts, and or behaviors or proportions of these individuals may also suffer from symptoms of mental illness that could be unrecognized. And is there articles on this? Oh, yes, there is articles. Let us take a look. As I share. And mind you, this is all for educational purpose. And I'm only gonna give you just a little things what I've just popped up and give my take. Let's look. And I might put this in. National Library of Medicine. Sexual deviancies, diagnosis, and neurobiological considerations. When was this posted? I don't think there's a date on this. I don't see no date. Don't see it. Oh well. It says here, as I read, abstract individuals who engage in sexual offense may be afflicted with a paraphilic disorders or sexual deviant syndromes. Paraphilic and psychiatric disorders characterized by deviance and cultural non-sanctioned sexual fantasies, thoughts, and or behaviors. A proportion of these individuals may also suffer from symptoms of mental illness that can go unrecognized. Although the epidemiological and psychopathological, or what they call psychopath, sociological, or paraphilic disorders continue to be under investigation. Data from epidural, biomedical, and psychomological studies suggest abnormalities at a biological level. This article, and it says this article, will discuss the reviewed clinical and neurobiological characteristics of paraphilical and will begin with general explorations and we'll go down. Sexual disorder and crimes, as in as article on that, paraphilical, sexual hormones, neurotransmission, psychohormonal treatments in men with paraphilic disorders. And as you can tell here, it looks like it focused mostly on men. It doesn't really talk about men and women, surprisingly. Now, why I pulled this one up, as y'all notice, and let's stop. That when you look at sexual deviance, and if you do a real good Google search, and let's say if I Google search more, is there another one? Hold on. You don't see it where it says men and women, if you notice it. And my thinking why it is, well, actually, it doesn't really give gender. But if we click any article, and that was just one article, it didn't say about men and women just to equate it because women can be just as deviant, just like men. It only focuses on the male portion. And my thinking why that is because in their rhetoric, that women are not really a most focused and study of sexual deviance as well. The video that I played, I consider that little sexual deviance in a way, a weird shit. We could probably call it something else, but that what I view it. But it goes back to show that well, you don't understand that these young boys that become men just don't become deviant overnight. They have to be enticed. See, one thing how epigenetic really functions and works if we want to have the conversation is that you have to do things, you have to imply, you have to entice. You're going to have to do something to trigger that deep genetic embedded in you that was inflicted through trauma centuries ago. And things can be reopened and reawakened through traumas that happens to and a once past life till now. But it goes back to that spookism that's that mumbo jumbo spirit shit. But really truly that also affects you as well. Don't be fooled. Do not be fooled that certain traumatic incidents could rekindle, refire certain things. And sexual deviance goes many ways. So when we hear about exploitation of children, keep in mind that when a child gets touched at any age before they reach puberty or actually become somewhat adult, which is roughly 18 years old on the average here in the West, we call America, they already have a certain desire, taste for more deviance, whether that's pornographic, whether it's some super fetish, etc. It has to be introduced to the males so that they can go and inflict that same trauma and hurt, etc., to young girls and women. And if they're not getting inflicted by another male, they damn sure are getting inflicted by a female. But it goes back to again that we do not focus not only on the males but focus on the women as well, because let's be honest, because not really reported like that. Well, it is reported to a degree if they really care, but really truly they feel men or boys that become men are impervious to sexual exploitations, rape, etc. All that stuff that will play in their psychology that they had to inflict that same pain to others. Keep in mind, everything is reflective now, people. Everything is reflective. Very much reflective. Um Now let's look at this one article that I came across that other people didn't really give it much attention, but I'll give it attention anyway. As I can find it. All right, I found it. And this is one of many articles that's out here floating. I'm only gonna do one because I just don't really want to just go invest too much time to find many more of the articles that's focused on the one brother that was a teenager that had sex with a adult woman. As I shared this, and hold on, and I will leave the link for people to look at for themselves if they wanted to. This article right here, what you're about to see and witness, the one with Mary J. Blige and the R&B singer Danny Boy. Mary J. Blige raped me when I was quote unquote 15, going on 16 years old. R&B singer Danny Boy makes shocking claims and photos. Well, he has photos, but Now, before we go into this, as y'all know, that let's be honest, there's certain words that cannot be depicted here on certain outlets no more. But I could pull it up on, let's say, the YouTube side of things, and there are videos with the terms of words on it. And my thinking why this word is not being used much often now for those that does the content and they want to get so-called keep their so-called quote unquote monetization nice and on the green is simple. Because people here they need to get paid. It's uncomfortable to use that word. Now we could say advertisements don't like it, and a lot of people that using doing content, they want to always get that little bucks, which is cool. I wouldn't mind getting some of them bucks if need to be, but we're going to have to be truthful and honest. That from what is written on the title here. That's what it was. And as a man, I don't like to deal with code language. And the reason why I don't deal with the coded language portion of things is because, let's be fair, honest, coded language does not give off the actual message. We all know the average person does not understand coded language, either through symbols or words or certain characteristics of words, etc. Yes, unfortunately, yes. And I say that bluntly because let's be honest here. Um, People that are under the age of 18 or over the age of 18, when you use certain keywords and you restructure your wording, they don't understand what that is. I had to ask someone when they use a different phrase. I ask them, "What do you mean by this?" Because as a man, and I can't speak for women because I'm only speak for men, but as a man, I don't do code shit. No, I don't do that. And the reason why I don't do that because when you're around people or in touch people or beings, you have to be clear in your words. Now, if you're around certain professions, people and stuff, maybe if you know how to use a different word, that might come into play to change the word for those that have a certain literal mind or understand the definition of word. The point is this, that the average consumer or people don't understand coded language. This R word, the rape word, is only used by and not used loosely, especially on the YouTube side of things, because let's be fair, honest, because the advertisements promote and they circulate products to push under the rug a lot of sexual deviance that goes out here amongst people. And you got to understand, it's not just a black male or black female issue. This is mostly a global issue because we know the history of Europeans. Sexual deviance is known and is prevalent and it's a way of life, how they operate as a people. And because the infection of the West to other groups of non-white people in the world, that this deviance has spread so wide that now there has to be institutions, maybe certain industries, certain people that will in law enforcement, etc., have to come in and have to regulate and have to eventually protect if they're not doing it right these behaviors. Because once you promote it through imagery, television, etc., it becomes a big problem. But let me read into this. But before I read into this, there was a new video done by a woman artist, 20, how old was she? A 26-year-old artist named Meg The Stallion. She did a new video called, I think, Hot Shit, Thought. And it had like a European old man that probably plays as a politician or some businessman, and he find that what she was doing was very inappropriate. So like Meg, she does her top shit, dance and all stuff with her music and stuff. And at the end, she replaced this older male, Caucasian male, and gave him a pussy in the form of a mouth. And I saw the reactions of a lot of celebrities, entertainers when they saw it. And the first thing came to one of their minds says they allowed it on national TV. I had to go and find the actual video, and I have concluded that we are now here, people. And what I mean by we here now, what you're witnessing now, more than ever, that sex is going to be a way of life where now, if it's not in the obstacles of showing deplorable depictions of, you know, misconduct behavior, but now it's going to show the imagery so strong that you're going to be soon numb to type of acts, images that show forms of enticement, arousal, and perversion. Big perversion. So what Chaos Reign is saying here is nothing new to y'all. It's already here. And what you're gonna see that's here is you're gonna see an uptick of sexual deviance and imagery moving forward. And the funny thing about this video came out on the same month, this month of what we call LGBTQ month, which in the next week or two is gonna be the 6th anniversary when they start, making it a federal law that you can get married as a same sex or homosexual person in America, particularly. So all this is this reflective. All is not coincidence, people. Everything is by design. So let's go into this article. R&B superstar Mary J. Blige may be the next celebrity to get caught up with a 25-year-old Me Too scandal after an R&B singer is claiming that she molested him when he was 15 years old. Mary J. Blige was about 24 at the time. Okay. MTO News learned that former Death Row singer Danny Boy is coming out with some disturbing allegations. According to Danny Boy, and then 24-year-old Mary J. called up Suge Knight and request that the send the 15-year-old boy to her hotel room. Danny Boy claims that once there, Mary alleged enticed him into having, sex. Well, it didn't say sex in the article, so keep that in mind. The R&B singer claims that he and Mary carried on a inappropriate relationship for many months. Danny Boy told his story during an interview on the YouTube channel The Art of the Dialogue, and in it describes a situation where an adult Mary J. Blige concerned or coerce him into a sexual relationship. Okay. And there's a video here. Y'all can watch that video. So I am not gonna play that. I don't really care. Kyle and go by the information that's written. And I will say personally, for a pause, that, and I forgot to say this. I apologize. Here in Chaos Reign, I am here to raise your attention span. What? You here to do what? Oh, you didn't hear what I said? Let me repeat what I'm gonna say.
I'm here to raise your attention span because the average attention span for a human being is under 5 seconds, roughly probably 3 seconds. That is no good. You cannot stay aware or understand or grasp or hold information in under 5 seconds. So the purpose and the mission of Chaos Reign is to gravitate and raise your attention span so it expands greater than 5 seconds.
So yeah, I had to go deep with that one. And let's be honest, your attention span only functions when you want to be attentive to things that has no prevalence in your life. That's no good. That's no good. For you to read, I would say, better yourself and to not only grasp things but learn, you have to raise your attention span on things that you just don't like. And that's the purpose of Chaos Reign. Anyway, let's move on. And the incident occurs in California, which has some of the what they call artistic child predators laws in the world, or the artistic child predator laws in the world, which I'm not surprised. California is like another monster in itself. I don't really want. Yeah. And as a result of Danny Boy's statement, Mary could face criminal charges. According to the California Penal Code, if the victim was a child, i.e., minor under 18 years of age, and I think the law for California might be 17 or 18. I gotta double check. I'm not doing it today. Um, when the incident occurs, prosecutors have an unlimited time to file charges if they have independent support evidence of the crime. Like Danny Boy, recent interview, and the interview is right here, which I could hear for yourself, which I don't really care. And the reason why I don't care because I don't respect the brother. But let's be fair and honest. You gotta if it happened to you as a man or a young boy that's now a man, I gotta tell you personally that when it comes to communities, especially our community, and I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be, uncharacteristic, that you as a boy, you getting fucked by either a girl that's your age or a woman is not only expected, but you should be proud and take it because in the mind of this black female or some black woman or whatever, that you're not gonna get much of any sex. So accept it and take it. Now, why you hear that? Because let's be honest. We know and we hear not only celebrity stories from R. Kelly's brother that got sexually molested by his teenage sister, but you hear enough times when the boys get sexually touched, raped, or molested, whatever you want to call it, that's not a form in this community or anywhere if we go by definitions that's actually gender neutral, that women cannot engage in sexual deviance. Mind you, they say women cannot engage in it. And I'm gonna tell you personally, yes, they could. Yes, they could. Oh, yes, they could. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And and the only reason why I say yes, they could is because let's be honest here. To be honest with y'all, is that women are exempt from any behavior when it is afflicted upon males in all fashions, whether it be the verbal abuse and the physical abuse. And as a man, I say personally, we should not be putting our hands at each other physically. We should not be cussing and verbally at each other for what reason. We should always have a form of restraint, respect for one another. But we can have these conversations because as a black community, as communities as we stand, we're sick. So you can't tell people nothing. And to be fair, honest with y'all, I can't say nothing either. I could probably mention something and say some things to the male side if they want to listen, if they have ears to hear. And some of them will not move. So what makes sense? I go out and tell you females what you should be doing. I won't even make it an emphasis. I won't even waste my time after time, if I need to. Because these are prevalent in the community that affects us as a whole. Besides systematic institutions and all they say that plagues, black people here in the West. But let's be honest. Let's keep it real here. I mean, when boys get fucked for the first time by the opposite sex, it is actually considered a badge of honor because you are considered a buck. You're supposed to be getting your wax off as early as before you hit 10 now. I hear stories now that young boys as young as possibly 6 or 8 are getting their dick sucked, get some form of fuck by the opposite sex, rather a girl that's either maybe their age, which I really doubt it. Some might be 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than them, or even 15 years older than them. That women in this reality, they feel the world is their oyster, especially not only the West, but globally, but we only could talk about America for now. That They could sit there and engage in all forms of sexual deviance, and it's all good. It's wonderful. It's wonderful if you think about it. They could sit there and say, I could fuck any boy or man I want, and there's no consequence. You know how much power that bring when there is no real consequence? You could do what the fuck you want. It can be kind of scary in a way, in a way, but wonderful as well. And I mean wonderful loosely. Keep that in mind. And let's be fair, honest here. They might think this might be a direct notice or attack on women overall. And they feel that this is unfair. This is not respectful. That you saying that, I could do the same thing and not get punished as a woman. So why are you as a man talking about it? I'm glad you asked. Because this affects the minds of boys. I remember George Macon talked about his experience when he was young, a teenager, and how it affected him. And I remember there was an actual video of a mother paying for strippers to have lap dance and, do some ill, sick shit to her teenage son. So when we talk about the molestation rate of the black community, I had to really look at it with a fine tool and say, you're bullshitting me because you cannot excuse one behavior for if it was done if a man or a boy did that on a girl and you just totally oblivious or you just sit there over you sit there neglect what the girl's doing to the man. And I'll be honest with y'all, when I first heard about this is new to me for the last 2 years. And the reason why, because this is not widely talked about. Even talking about it now, this will not get much views. And I expect it. I don't accept it, but I expect it. Because let's be fair, honest. The dudes that sit there caping for this are the homosexuals. They don't have to work hard to get any pussy. Sometimes they might just pop up, show up, and the woman will just spread their legs like the eagle and bust it wide open for that real nigga. And that's cool to them. And I say it's cool because, what I mean, when you get what you want, I mean, as a male, you don't have no emphasis to do better, to strive and aim for better. Hell, it gotten so bad, especially in this community, that the sign of manhood by the Green Gorilla said is how much you can have sex and fuck. And the bar, as I look at it, and I don't give a fuck what said that they want certain things. And you hear certain female podcasts and content creators talk about the falls of black males or males in general, but just black males for the sake of conversation. That they don't understand their role they play in it, regardless. And I'm very cautious with any woman that talks about the opposite sex and exempt their behaviors. Now, as I look at this overall, it's not a good sign. It's not a good look. Trust me, it's not a good look at all. I think the reason why we think the way we do is because we have refused to change as a people. We do not take the sexual exploitation and the sexual deviance in our own group seriously. And the reason why I say that we don't take it seriously is because we feel that we're privileged to pain, guilt, hurt, shame. If you're a boy, you get fucked for the first time before your so-called puberty or maybe after puberty. You should accept it and make it think and seem that it's gonna probably the last pussy you're gonna ever get. You might not get much of this pussy. It's very much low level thinking. It's animalistic in a way. Very low. Young boys that become men when they talk to other men about that, about how much access pussy they get. That is very low bar. and other men that's out here, they're competing and doing things necessary to be up front and the next in power. And when we talk about power moves, I can't be serious that we as people are not serious about talking about gaining or attaining anything to be the next face of dominance of any culture or any set of people, racial people. And there's a lot of things that's plaguing us, not only epigenetically, but all forms of fashions that give us the same outlooks, outcomes, and it keeps us stagnant. So yeah. So to rewind back from the from the early videos from the mother and daughter to the Mary J. Blige. And mind you, this has been talked about now for a few days, maybe a week or two. The only reason why I'm covering it because I have to sit back and do a reflection and give my reflection on the chaos theory of things. And you must understand in the world of chaos, the order has to be restored one way or the other. And they seek for somebody to restore order. But we all know human beings love chaos. Every time when you turn on, you hear podcasters or YouTubers open their mouths. Well, the first thing that comes to their mouth, people, you want to leave us in a state of chaos. Why? Why use this word constantly? Because they love this shit. You know, people can't function without any form of chaos in their own life. Hell, they can't function in their lives in relationships. Certain women can't be comfortable with a man without any form of ill will, disturbing behaviors that leads to chaos. She slapping you, punch you, or engage in violence towards you as a man is a form of chaos, and she's hoping, seeking that you restore the order. Women are the carriers of chaos. Yes, I do agree on that. Yes, it is true. It is very true. But that makes you as a man that you have to step in and restore the order. Because order has to be restored one way or the other. One way or the other. So one more thing I do want to say before closing. I saw a video done by Mr. Jackson. O'Shea. Oh, as you see the diagram here. But let me stop this one. And as y'all not sure who I'm talking about, y'all familiar with Angela Simmons, right? Let's see if there's a good picture of her. Angela Simmons, yes. Now, if y'all familiar with her, now I think she's like an entrepreneur selling, products like maybe perfume, maybe clothing, possibly. Not sure. I've noticed there was a video done on her about how she really wanted more children with her esteemed or her deceased baby father because I don't think she was there ever married at all. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section of the end of this podcast. But I'll say this. When I look at her and I start hearing the backstories about what she wanted out of her life, as a man, I'm be dead honest with you. That you have squandered your opportunities as a woman. And I mean you squander it loosely because you were brought up and came from a lineage or a family of well productive men. Your father, I think it's Ron. Ron Simmons or wherever the Simmons brother is. I think he's a preacher, once an artist, etc. And he had like 2 daughters, I believe. The other daughter, I believe she's married. She's doing okay. But you, as a woman, I'm not sure if you were the middle child or the second oldest. I look at as opportunity and potential that not only has the potential to do good things, but be a very good wife, a potential wife, especially coming from a Christian background. To find that you sit there still wanted more children with this criminal, with this man that you have choose, because it is your right to choose, that you went way above your wishes of your father. And I mean by that loosely. And I say that loosely that your father did everything he needed to do to prepare life so you don't have to be in these streets, do things like everybody else. Meaning you have to sit there, grind, probably work, possibly. Hell, you might have to go to school and be put in debt. You don't have to go for that struggle. You were brought into a set of you have a great responsibility to not only do better, but be even better or great. And throughout your upbringings, you still chose to do bad and pick very much a man that's not pretty much in your class. Last my check, because if you are a daughter of a famous MC, and that means you in a realm in a world with other promising young boys that will be men to marry and couple up with. Hell, I remember one time you could have had it with and possibly got married if you played cards right with Romeo, which he comes from a very well background. And I'm gonna say this that people are not aware. Master P is now a doctorate, and I will put up a video and talk about that maybe down the line. This man came from Louisiana out of nothing and made something of himself to a point. Not only he's a well-established businessman, but he's also a doctorate. So what that tells you? What does that tell you? But the point is this: that his son comes through greatness from other men. And you come from greatness because you were groomed and raised by a well-established family and other men. And to find that you sit there and bust it wide open for, I don't like to use the word pookie, but a man that's not of your class is very much telling. It is very much reflective. So your outcomes now in life, you actually put yourself, and I'm gonna say this clear and hear me good, that what the manosphere has said, either white or black, that you having a child out of some point of wedlock is evident that you have made yourself a permanent, and I mean honesty, and I'm not no joke, I'm not shitting. As I'll see the picture, she is a wonderful and good looking woman, older woman, mid-aged woman. She might be the mid-age. She might be 33 this year. You made and put yourself in the realm of a baby, no, not baby mom, as a pass along for the rest of the years until your son becomes an adult and maybe some dude might marry you. And trust me, it's not. It might be another black dude, and I can't say other cultural men, non-black men, not gonna marry this woman. But we all know the deal here that once you have a child and you're not even going through a marriage, and who you had your child with, it's gonna be determined the access and pull of men. And the men that's been saying this for the last couple years are not lying. Her baby father died maybe a year, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I believe. I could be wrong. And it tells that not only you did not value marriage and you're a Christian and stuff, but you did some out the norm that put you at greater risk. Now, and I know her father was very disappointed, and I'm not sure if his father has any relationship with his daughter. I believe so. But like I said, most daughters, once they get a certain age, they always go behind their backs to their fathers anyway. And I'm not saying as a man that you have to be concerned that your daughter might go left if you do everything possibly, provide a shelter, nourish your children and stuff. But you might have to go even further to start teaching your fucking daughters well and teach them fucking well. Because there's no way in hell there should be an excuse that Angela should be, you know, put herself in this position. She knows better and she did not choose to do better. And when she had her child, she was not no young girl. She was like a mid adult. So to find that she wanted to have more children from her babe, or so-called babe father, was telling. Very telling. You're supposed to be emotional cry because you have made an ill mistake. And I know your father and somebody in your same circle have told you this. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure what friends she has, any female friends, but I'm gonna tell you by the way how she moved and act and how she conduct herself. Even I heard she had a my fans only reflective enough that to be honest with you, your parents failed you. Your father failed. And I know he's taking that big L, but the reason why I say he's taking big L because he was a part and actually was a part of your life. The find that you went and came out and turned out like this, it's hurting. And I will say as a person, as a man, if you do everything possibly, and you probably should did more if you're involved in your marriage with your children in your life, and your children turn out this way, that's a big L for you, bro, my man. Now, how I would handle it, it'd be more rougher than what you're seeing right now. I would have did some disowning in my mind. You come from my class and you go around, you get knocked up and pregnant. You don't even got a marriage from this. No good, no good Negro. Mm. Now the man would married her, and started to change his life, which I doubt because if you're in these streets, you get what is handed to you. You're gonna get the streets. Gonna be eaten by the wolves and the dogs of the streets. But like I said, she's taking the L for this, unfortunately, and life moves on. Now, is she gonna be single for the coming years? Possibly. It's gonna be by choice. It better not. But we all know when most women talk about I'm single by choice, in my mind, it tells me you want to be on the carousel. And the only place that a woman says that only have this.
She belongs to the street.
Yeah. And the streets, she needs to go back where she come from. And that's the message you send, ladies. Once you sit there and don't get no form of really commitment to a man that you decide to fucking suck. If he's one of those dudes that's in the streets, then by default, you do belong to the streets. Like Future said. And it's sad. It's very sad. When I look at women like this, I look at potential waste. Wasted. Very much wasted. And trust me, these are not just one of offshore stories. There are gonna be many more to come. And down the line, I might start covering some of these stories personally because I should not be seeing this. I should not be hearing about this. There's a reason why we have class in America. Is to separate us from the animals of society. And I know people don't want to hear that because it sounds harsh and rough, but remember, class was always been around with us in existence. Why do you think we have kings and queens? That's not by coincidence, that's by design. Because somebody has to restore the order and show remnants of what or how people should carry and conduct themselves for society to be functional. That's how it works. So yeah. So in wrapping up this, and perfect. Let me see if the image will change. In wrapping up all this, I would say this that as a society, we're gonna have to do better. And doing better requires some form of work at the end of the day. And the reason why I say this is that it's going to come to a point that we're going to do better and we're going to have to do better. You get me? And one of the few things for remedies, I would say seeing a good therapist will help. God knows we need it in our communities. We do need that. That would be one step. The other thing I would say, you go have to stay away from people in your family that have a history or have done some sexual ill will behaviors towards either yourself or others and your family members. Stay the fuck away from them. That will help. Don't associate yourself. Distance yourself if you need to. Distance yourself real good. Go a different state if needed. Do what you have to do, but separate from some of those people. Yeah. Oh, and another thing, I forgot to say this on the early part of the podcast show. When I saw the mother and daughter, and they said how they do pretty much everything together, it makes me wonder: do they also eat each other out as well? Because there are forms of incense as well. There is a form of incense as well amongst this community. You see, when we talk about incense, it's not just opposite sex. We could also say same sex as well, but that's something that's quiet and not talked about. So I don't know how they do it down there down south if they eating each other pussy out, possibly. Um, but like I said, what do I know? But at the end of the day, these are the remedies you could take to correct the measures that you suffer, and it's your responsibility as a man. If you've been sexually touched, raped, etc., you need to get help. Don't hide it. Don't keep it coop up. We all know the dangers of that as a man. And if you as a well, actually, yeah, for as a man. Now, woman, if you've gone through that, you know where to go, what to do. You know what the help you need to seek to correct that. I don't have to say much. There are many clinics out here. And I'm gonna tell to most people, stop being cheap. Do not be cheap when trying to seek actual professional help. Seek the help. Search for the help. It is your rightful duty. It is your mission to do that. Please. Thank you. And that is pretty much it. As you know, if you are new to Chaos Rain channel, please subscribe. Hit the red bell. Head the red button. I'm sorry. Hit the top bell. Also, you can find me in all other form podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, etc. Season 1 is there. Other shows are on there as well. So you didn't catch it here, you can catch it on there as well. You can also now follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. And you can now follow me and add me on Facebook as well. Title Eric Rain. So that is all. Thank y'all for listening to this broadcast. It's been a while, but I'm back on the flow of things, and there's gonna be more to come. But until next time, you know what it is.
Let it chaos. Reign.